All right, guys, live as always from 8 to 9 during the week, and on the weekend, Saturday 2 to 4 p.m. and 6 to 8 p.m., Sunday 2 to 4 p.m. Those are the base Eastern time. What I want to take a look at today is we're 2 days from the launch of Assassin's Creed Shadows, so we're going to react to a few reviews. I've watched a few today. What I want to focus on, I'm really curious to see at least one YouTuber react to it, and we'll check it out. I've seen IGN gave it an 8, pretty basic, pretty average, but it was good. So yeah, let's just react to the main one I want to react to right now. I'll bring it up, is Skill Up, because I know he was pretty mixed on it. So I really want to see what he has in store for us. So yeah, I'm gonna make sure I put his name in the description. I'm not even sure if he has made the review yet. We'll see. Oh, apparently not. Okay. But for sure, we're gonna check it on stream as soon as he gets the review out. But yeah, let's just see some footage, see what the game is about, and maybe get hype or disappointed. I have Maddie Plays I like to watch. I know he's pretty mixed on it, so yeah, let's just watch.
Salutations,
we are
everybody. It
ready.
is Maddie here today. I hope you're all doing absolutely excellent. Today,
There
we
you
are
go.
gathering to talk about Assassin's Creed Shadows. Now, this is a little bit different from your usual Mr. Maddie style review video. The key difference being, I have not finished the game yet.
Just
I've
give me
only
a
put
sec.
15 hours into Assassin's Creed Shadows. And it's a Ubisoft game, so yeah, from top to
I have a
bottom,
little trouble
usually much bigger than
with my
15
camera.
hours. So,
Gonna
if
set
you
it
are...
up. Restart the video. There you go. I don't want to take the whole screen. And we're off. There you go. I'm gonna get used to it, adjusting it. No worry. All right.
Salutations, everybody. It is Maddie here today. I hope you're all doing absolutely excellent. Today, we are gathering to talk about Assassin's Creed Shadows. Now, this is a little bit different from your usual Mr. Maddie style review video. The key difference being, I have not finished the game yet. I've only put 15 hours into Assassin's Creed Shadows. And it's a Ubisoft game, so yeah, from top to bottom, usually much bigger than 15 hours.
What I've
so
noticed
if you are
is
looking for a more deep
the
dive
graphics are
into AC
really
Shadows, may I
better
suggest
from the
ACG,
Valhalla I'm
Skill Up,
playing.
or Your Raptor, who covers a lot of Ubisoft content, so I feel like his angle would be really appreciated. Check any of them out. But for me, I felt my 15 hours were still pretty important to share because I represent a lot of the Ubisoft fan base that wants to get back into their games, and if I could be won over, then that is a good sign for many of you out there. I got my review code really late in the process, which is totally fine.
Like the graphics are pretty good.
But after 15 hours, I am not playing more AC Shadows. Not because it is an awful game, although I think a lot of people will take it that way, but really because I've played this game before. This is not a situation in my impressions videos of Yore where I sat down and played like 30 or 40 hours of Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 and went, yo, this is absolute excellence on display here. I'll catch you all in a couple of weeks or months with my final verdict video. This is a moment where it's like my impressions are kind of my final thoughts because I'm not going back to AC Shadows because I've reviewed games for half my life. I've seen Ubisoft games time in, time out, to review them constantly. I know this song and dance. I will just confidently say, I'm good, y'all. What I mean,
That's mainly what I am also. Like, I played the first few and I'm really stoked about those game, and I kind of lost the series after that. I feel like it's a mainly like stealth assassination, and I feel like we didn't get that feeling. Like, I know Ubisoft can do that pretty well. We have Splinter Cell. I've played. Actually, I was a competitive Ghost Recon players when I was a teenager. Made tournaments in France and stuff like that. So, like the tactical stealth aspect of the Splinter Cell series, I feel like they had that like 15 years ago. I don't know how they can like still struggle today, but playing Valhalla, I've seen some few things, although the stealth was not one of them.
by all this is that if you like the RPG style Assassin's Creed games, this is another one. Not much of a shocker there. I want to come from that angle as well. I'm not sitting here like, oh my God, they didn't overhaul every single system in an established
Not
franchise.
a lot of
Are you
reaction
kidding me?
from that
I'm just saying that,
NPC.
y'all, if you were
from the
hoping this
hits.
would win you over, if you've played prior Assassin's Creed games and you were hoping this was different, that's not what's happening here. It is very much the same. There is no radical shakeup that is going to bring you back in if you are like me. And while it is almost impossible for Ubisoft to separate themselves from the pressure fans are putting on this game for it to over-deliver or succeed, as an industry commentator, I find that interesting, but as a reviewer, it has no bearing on how I'm scoring the game. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, that's enough setup. I just want to kind of go into a more free-form conversation on things that stood out to me in Assassin's Creed Shadows and the things that I think could have been done better. The too long didn't read really is that it's got pretty solid stealth gameplay, not great level design, not interesting open world tasks or objectives, and a really bad story. So those are my general thoughts. Now let's dive.
That's what I'm looking for, though. Like just the stealth gameplay.
Usually,
if you fill me up with stuff to do, if I can all do it, like
consider subscribing. Let's start with the renewed focus on stealth, because I think that is the best element of the game.
It's probably going to be fine.
Crouch. You can go prone, so you can crawl around the grass like, you're that Gilly in the Mist sort of vibe, like in a Call of Duty Modern Warfare mission.
That's what I liked about the Splinter Cell series is like you can climb walls, hang on it, see like going prone like this. I know a few reviewers also said like the lighting was also important in that game. So that's pretty nice. Like you go around, you carefully like take out lights with shurikens and stuff. You can whistle to like lure enemies and stuff. Yeah, I feel like it's gonna be nice.
You can dodge roll. So these kind of movement techniques all combine really well, where you'll be like crouch walking around an entire compound and then dodge roll into cover and hide behind some boxes and then assassinate someone. It all feels pretty good when you're getting around. They brought back the double assassination. It's an unlockable ability for Naue, which I think is really exciting. But I think one of the key new features here is how this game plays with light and dark. I find that to be the most fun thing here, especially when you are playing this game at night. It gives you a little bit of a Splinter Cell vibe as you're extinguishing lights, hiding in the shadows, or using your kunai to wipe out different lights so that you can take out your enemies without anyone seeing. They also give you a grappling hook, which is very reminiscent of the rope launcher that you got in Assassin's Creed Syndicate, where you could scale the side of buildings, or in the case of Syndicate, you could do something ridiculous like going across massive wide streets, but it worked really well in keeping traversal and free running going despite the scale of that game. Something that I'll get into how I think AC Shadows really trips up on that free running aspect. So there's a lot of good movement techniques here, and to kind of put a bow on it all, you have this great expert mode here that you can turn on. It's a specific stealth difficulty, and it allows enemies to spot you on the rooftops, and way quicker at that, might I add. And I enjoyed things more this way, but you can definitely tell that the game is designed for a normal difficulty. Just given how many enemies are in the area at once, it's very easy to get spotted on an expert difficulty, and it also starts to expose a little bit of the level design where the game very much relies on play it on normal anyway, just to experience how the devs wanted it to the floor. So you get low to the floor, but there are only so many bushes you can hide in, and very few buildings that you can crawl underneath, which I wish was utilized more, because it is the most awesome part of the game. Is just crawling beneath these like hidden pathways and popping up into buildings or assassinating people through doors. Like that stuff is cool, and I wish this game embraced a lot more of that. Still, it all feels like a great test bed for Splinter Cell. So I think
That
mechanically
was
speaking, the stealth
exactly what I
is pretty
said.
solid here. And especially I think expert mode will really speak to series veterans. Where I think a lot of this starts to fall apart is actually in the level design component of things. Much of this is very samey. You'll have moments you'll enter castles or temples for the 13th, 14th, 15th time and have a feeling of like, I think I've been here before. And a lot of this level design informs the objective design in Assassin's Creed Shadows. So if you go to
Like, I don't care taking my time with all the enemies you saw on that map at once. Like, I don't care if like my mission take me way more time than it could just because I want to do the whole thing stealthily. That's just the bread and butter I'm looking for an Assassin's Creed game. So hopefully that it looks like it's delivering.
say a castle, the same objective will always be take out 5, 3, 2 samurai daisho. Once you take them out, that chest at the top right next to the viewpoint has magically unlocked and you'll go up there and you'll get some really cool gear. And it feels good, don't get me wrong, but what ends up happening is you start to look at, I'm sorry I had to bring it up, but Ghost of Tsushima, where that game really thrived through having unique level design because it then would inform the objective design and in turn be a lot more of an interesting game to play because it stripped it of its tedium. Because, for example, there's an outpost in Ghost of Tsushima that has you exploring a shipyard, and in that shipyard, you're going to destroy the black powder caches. However, a Mongol outpost might have you just killing everyone in the area. That diverse approach just removes a lot of the familiarity of the game's open world beats, and it's something that you'll notice this game especially lacks whether or not you have played Ghost of Tsushima. However, if you have played Ghost of Tsushima, then you'll realize this is not some anti-Ubisoft rhetoric like many have, but rather that it just feels like they have been beaten to the punch on their golden goose that they stashed away for so long. I think worse yet is when you're in key story missions, they have these invisible walls. I talked about this a little bit in my preview, but it was very much intrusive where I wanted to explore the level a little bit more or take a unique route around, but the game was like putting me on rails.
Like,
and
like let me go around if I want to just exit the castle and enter from another standpoint. Like, yeah, I feel that. That's pretty unfortunate, I would say.
still don't get why they did it this way, especially when the early parts of the game you're only playing as Naoe. I'll talk about that in the story segment where I'm like, it's one thing if like, oh, you could have played as Yasuke where this dude is just a bull that rushes through fortresses with not a problem at all and doesn't need a free run. Naoe does free run. She does get around through the rooftop.
I heard it gets
hook. So
between 10 and 15 hours with Naoe at the beginning.
It doesn't feel very good. So basically every
lot.
situation boils down to entering the castle walls, hiding on a rooftop, activating your eagle vision, marking everyone in the environment, and then navigating that environment with everyone marked, gradually taking them out one by one. The real interesting caveat that I think comes up at certain sections of the game is how the seasons change, which might change how guards behave. It'll also replenish where guards were once stationed. So if you wipe them all out, they'll come back because the seasons changed. It'll switch up the visuals a little bit. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Phantom Pain, but not all the way. So don't go in fully expecting that. But it was a cool little system there.
And also,
it also
I
made
heard
for some
like
beautiful visuals.
most of them
so yeah,
played
the stealth is, like I said,
80%
solid
Naoe,
mechanically, but
and
the level design really does fail it. And
I mean, it's an Assassin's Creed game. Like, what do you expect? We want to stealthily assassinate people. Like, we're not like God of War going full blast. And obviously, I feel like I'm not so sure about it. We won't judge it before playing it, but not so sure about the introduction of Yasuke in that game.
where it gets interesting is as we talk about the parkour system, very smooth animations.
Maybe I'm
Reminds
wrong.
me a lot of AC Unity, AC Syndicate, where you
This
get
looks
around
pretty cool.
and it feels and
Like going
looks
to
really good. But I wonder how AC diehards will feel about how Shadows handles downward parkour, because a lot of times it's more stylish than effective. Like you're doing
Yeah,
side flips off
I
the
had
side
the
of
same
buildings,
comment.
whereas by comparison,
Like,
something
I want to go
AC
down that
Unity
building. Why
has you,
do I
like,
have to
slipping
do a
and sliding
360
and
front
quickly
flip for that?
scaling downward?
I feel
because
like
it's trying to maintain momentum.
you're
But it feels
an
like when I'm
efficient assassin,
parkouring
you wouldn't do
downward
that.
in AC Shadows.
I thought
it's
that was
more
over
for
the top.
style
But
and flair. It looks
whatever.
good. Again, very well animated,
see.
but I'm
It's a
curious
video
how
game,
AC
but I mean,
diehards
see,
will feel
like,
about how this is implemented, because
it's kind of funny.
more than anything is that this is a huge open world game. And even when the missions start to narrow down more so, I didn't find myself using the parkour system in the interesting ways that I think it could have been used, because most of your time will be spent riding through the Japanese countryside on horseback. And that is awesome. Like, it is a vibe when the rain starts pouring, the visuals kick in. Like, this game is awesome in those moments. But if we're thinking about it as an Assassin's Creed game, especially if you're playing as like a ninja in the dark, I thought the free running would go crazy in this game. But I mean, you'll scale things at times, but when it comes to jumping from like building to building, getting into that flow as you go to your next objective, I didn't really use that much at all. Which again, it's just weird to say about an Assassin's Creed game. It's like, hey, I played Fallout and I didn't use VATS. It's like, well, that's like a defining mechanic of the game. What are you talking about? Now, as for the open world itself, I already talked about the castles and taking out the samurai. That's one objective you'll see a lot. Sometimes you go to these temples and they'll be like, hey, you need to bow and pray at like 3 different sites, or
we'll see when we play, because you know, when I play Valhalla, most people told me it's like an action game, and as we saw last night, not being able to stealthily complete that camp because we had to be raiding, yeah, I can get that, but like my way of playing the game might be different from him, so we'll keep that in mind.
Pages to collect, and all you do is literally show up to these locations, hold the left trigger, you'll see these little white dots, and you'll be able to observe them, and they'll be marked, and once you check off all 3 of them, like, your time there is done. Again, I think these areas would be more interesting if they did take a little page out of that Ghost of Tsushima handbook and was like, hey, they kind of formed the missions and objectives per location to the location itself, rather than like, here are the list of objectives we can only do in Assassin's Creed, and they just need to fit in each of these locations, because then it starts to feel, again, very copy and pasted. Other activities you'll find, I think AC Origins fans will really like the tombs in this game, because it reminds me of exactly what you would do when you would go into tombs in that game, where you would go through these like labyrinths, these kind of mini puzzles, and you'd find treasure at the end of them. There are reflections where you could kind of do these flashback missions after a little mini game. If you're playing as Yasuke, you can train with different masters in the open world map, which kind of remind me a little bit of the duels from Ghost of Tsushima. Naturally, it's an Assassin's Creed game, so you have your viewpoints. The difference here is that when you climb to the top of a viewpoint in AC Shadows, you're going to actually manually mark them, kind of like you would in Breath of the Wild. Like, you're going to assign them to your map. You can only assign so many and go and chase them down. So I think a lot of people will like that. The game is still loaded with a ton of UI anyway, so it's not like it's removing a lot of that screen clutter. It just means that you're manually marking where
didn't bother me that much.
I'm also curious how AC fans are going to take to how they're handling the Animus stuff. It seems like it,
like, I've played a lot of games. Like, I started a channel with a game that doesn't hold your hand, like Elden Ring. Nothing gets marked. Like, you just can free roam and find it yourself, you know. And I felt like because of that, I would hate Valhalla and the new generation of ACs. And to me, it wasn't that bad. Like, if you can like put good mechanics, and I feel like the assassination, the animations were good. Like, I felt pretty good about it, even though it was a lot more hand holding. It didn't bother me that much, because I felt even the gameplay I thought was really cool. So yeah, it's just a different game, and I feel like this one is more up to date and even cooler, more stealthy. So yeah, I'm not too worried. Looks good.
It's been incorporated into this sort of grimy live service element where you complete daily missions to kind of progress that story in this in-game battle pass where you can earn the currency in the world. Sometimes I'll literally just find it laying about, but otherwise you'll complete these dailies in these kind of rotating weekly equipment sets that they give you. And I was just a little, I don't know about this one, y'all. But to find these activities, you'll either chase your manually set markers or follow the quest steps that are on the top left corner of the screen that'll give you environmental details like west of Sakai, in the warehouse district, you know, and you kind of look for this sort of stuff. And eventually the quest point auto narrows itself down and just gives you a hard quest point to chase down once you get close enough. So you can either do that, or you can spend scouts on the map to go ahead and just mark the objective for you right then and there. I found it to be a little bit of a self-defeating mechanic, because to get to these points, I would typically open my map and put a marker down anyway and run to that marker to get to where I needed to go. So it feels like Ubisoft just added this extra step between the actual earning of the waypoint, which I think maybe will move the needle for some. For me, I actually just ended up turning on guided exploration, so I would get the quest marker right then and there. I didn't have to go ahead and track it down.
I would do
and
the
frankly,
same.
made the game much better in my opinion. I think it just flowed way better that way. So you have that option available to you. If
Like I
this
said, I
sounds
don't
like
care if
not a good
everything
thing
is
at the
marked.
end of the
If
day.
I go
Still,
there,
if it's an attempt to solve
find the
lack
gameplay
of
cool.
waypoints in their open world games, they're
It's
going to have
fine.
to
It's
try
a
again
different
because I
type
don't
of game.
think this is a good solution. Now, doing all these activities, exploring this world will level you up. It does have those RPG elements. You're going to get tons of gear. You also have a skill tree per weapon. So like your katana has a skill tree. Your Kusarigama has a skill tree. Bow has a skill tree. And Naue and Yasuke's are different. Naue, for example, you can unlock a lot of stealth abilities like your double assassination if you have the Tanto equipped. The actual assassination, you can do more damage for that by gradually upgrading it. However, there is an option as well to just turn on one-shot assassinations, no matter what the level is or anything like that.
Oh,
I
okay.
turned that on because I get the RPG elements being
Yeah,
there
yeah.
and influencing the assassination damage, but it feels really bad when you get the jump on someone
And
the
you
game's
don't
just
kill
like,
him.
no, sorry, you don't have
Yeah,
the right gear. No, sorry, you're not
exactly.
leveled up enough, and you end up jumping them, taking out like
Yeah, I
a
feel
third
the
of their
same.
health, and then fist fighting them.
I
It just
sneaked into
doesn't
him.
feel good. So I like
I
that
cut his
option was
throat,
there, so I
whatever
went
his
right around
level.
that. But it does nullify a good portion of a particular upgrade tree. It also, you can change how many tools she can carry. Meanwhile, Yasuke can get a lot of cool mechanics into the combat, like riposting upon parrying. He can do a brutal assassination if you sneak up behind someone. He can switch weapons mid-combo if you want to stretch out said combos. And there's also a knowledge rank to all of this, so as you do things like the temples, or you complete
Looking
the
at this, I
castles,
feel like some
your
NPCs, like you see the impact of your hits, and some others you don't. Like I've seen him slash that. Because if we check that first guy, we see him slash, 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 and the NPC doesn't react. You just have the health bar going down. And the second one he goes to, every slash he does gets an animation from the NPC. Don't know why.
weapons mid-combo if you want to stretch out said combos.
Like
And
right
there's also
there.
a knowledge rank to all of this, so as you do things like the temples, or you complete the
I don't know if
castles,
it's me,
your
but
knowledge of the land, I guess, goes up, and it'll unlock different tiers of that mastery system where you'll be able to unlock new skills deeper in the game. So kind of encourages you to go deep and hit those side objectives if you want to reach these really useful upgrades. Now, interestingly, and potentially my favorite element of this all, because it did give me a bit of nostalgia, is they have this hideout system. Reminds me a lot of the homestead in Assassin's Creed 3. I just have such fond memories of the homestead in AC3. And so basically it's the same thing here. As you're out in the world, you're going to get materials, or you can send your scouts to pick up particular materials if you find them throughout an enemy castle. You'll use those materials to build different structures as your home base expands throughout the course of the game. You'll get new features like, oh, now I can do blacksmithing, or I can change my outfits, or I can accept dailies now. It's just a cozy place to
That's
go
cool,
return
yeah.
to. It's nice to see it build
And I've
out.
heard
You can
NPC get
customize how the
crowded.
roofs look, how the buildings look, so you can really get into it if you want.
build
And
like a
I said,
small
it reminded me
village.
of AC3
Feels
in a
alive.
good way, where I was like, oh, I enjoy this. Is it as dope as like the AC Syndicate moving train hideout? No, but it's still pretty solid. So I did like this part of the game. Now, underpinning everything I just talked about throughout this entire video is the split protagonist system. You have Naue, you have Yasuke, very similar to AC Syndicate where you had Jacob and Evie. Now, Yasuke, I feel, is very out of place narratively and gameplay wise. I hate to say it, but the stealth is the highlight here, but Yasuke can't free run, he can't stealth, nothing. He's entirely built around the game's
Yeah, that's what I
combat
heard
system,
from
the
other reviewers
ability-driven
too.
combat system that was first introduced and scarcely evolved upon since AC Origins. So in turn, if
It's
you
an
never
Assassin's
really liked
Creed
that
game.
combat system, Yasuke is almost entirely useless on the gameplay
You
front,
want a
especially for
parkour, you want a stealth
a lot of
assassin.
the key series features that make Assassin's Creed stand out. Your free running, your stealth gameplay. He's just another option, but since Naue is good on the feet as well, I
Doesn't
again
seem
don't
to be in
see
his place in
why
that game.
Yasuke was needed on the
Yasuke.
gameplay front. And then, as I'll get into in a second here with the story, the way he's kind of stapled in what should have been a contentious relationship between him and Naue just felt forced, so that the player had the option where if you don't want to do stealth, you can just bulldoze the whole game. Now, that said, while the
Yeah.
combat system I don't think is fantastic in these games, it's way more bloody in AC Shadows, and I think that adds to the satisfaction. I mean, you're talking decapitations, floors and walls are going to get painted. each weapon has its own ability set that automatically swaps, which I thought was really cool. These abilities are very stylish. Like you can get behind an enemy
Might
and cut
actually
them
play
up,
Ghost of
down, left,
Tsushima
right as
tomorrow.
Naoe, or you
I'm
can
gonna
like,
play some
do a kind of cool dash and put your weapon
Valhalla,
away
but this
as Yasuke.
makes me
You
want
can do a boot kick that can yeet your enemies across the
do a
map.
little session
That
in
stuff is
Tsushima
really enjoyable. But again, this kind of goes to what the
before
whole
Shadows on
thesis of this
Thursday.
Impressions video is about. You've likely seen a lot of this before, right? All of this is something you're like, oh yeah, that's from this. Oh yeah, this is from that. Yeah, it's just like a love child of only Ubisoft stuff that you've seen before. So on that note, let's start wrapping things up a bit with the story. This is, if 15 hours taught me anything, the most cliche revenge story, almost hilariously so. Like everything beat for beat that you have seen is here. Like her first kill, she's looking at the blood on her hands. Oh my God, I can't believe I did that. Then something tragic happens. Now she's on the path of revenge. Blood doesn't scare her anymore. Oh, I got my revenge, but boy, do I feel empty. So she's about to become what she swore to defeat when then she's called out. When she's called out, it's like, oh, okay, wait, you might be right. You might be cooking there. Yeah, you know what? I can't become that. Now my path is true. I see. My eyes are wide open. Vengeance is not the way. And so we'll take down the ultimate evil together. That is your story. At least from the 15 hours I got in. I was like, oh my God. Like this is
but 15 hours is not even half, so
trope. And I think
anyway, we're
worse
gonna
yet
experience it by
is
ourselves.
that AC Shadows repeats the errors of Assassin's Creed Mirage when I reviewed that game, where you have two characters that should very much be at odds with one another. Like again, looking at AC Shadows and Mirage side by side, I'm like, how is a lesson not learned here? These two should be in a contentious relationship, Yasuke and Naoe. However, within 15 to 20 minutes, it's all in the past, y'all. Don't you worry about it.
Yeah.
But worse than Mirage, however, is that these two characters are your
That's what I heard from
protagonists.
other reviewers,
So you
too.
basically have a scenario where Ubisoft dropped the ball worse here, in my opinion. I don't think I need to spell it out, but I do think tension is everything in a story. It doesn't have to be this instantaneous thing, like right away, frame one, there's tension. But when it starts to manifest, it needs to stay for at least a decent amount of time because it starts to call everything into question. Is there going to be a resolution? When these two disagree with one another, how is the blow up going to happen? Or when you
Also, what I heard, like people play 80% Naoe and 20% Yasuke. They're like, you played like for 25 hours Naoe without playing Yasuke. He just shows up randomly in the cutscenes and stuff. Like he's really like, I don't know that why they had to get involved with a second character. I felt like one stealthy assassin would have been great. I don't know why they did this, but even the other reviewers I heard, like they said it felt off. So
do reach that resolution, they see eye to eye. They, in this case, forgive one another. This is what makes this story feel good because then it feels earned. It feels human. But Naoe and Yasuke should have this distant sense of trust at best, but they immediately wipe that away for jolly cooperation. And I think to just underline how added on I felt Yasuke was, you know, he really, outside of the prologue section of the game, which is like the first 20-30 minutes, you don't see him for like 10 hours. Depending on how much open world stuff you engage in, your mileage will vary, but he's out of the game for a while, and it felt very much like the way everything's set up. This is Naoe's story, and then Yasuke got added on at some point. It's not really a bad thing. It's just you don't really have to play as him ever, but also it starts to highlight one last problem I have with this game, which is the game design of these dual protagonists. You'll have these missions that you're going through where you're working together and they'll have these dialogue options that'll pop up. Play as Yasuke, play as Naoe. Now, there was one time I was hunting down a target and I had the choice of playing as Naoe or Yasuke. We were face to face with this target where it seemed like if I choose one, the other would continue navigating the level or helping out in some way. Again, to emphasize, face to face, like we're talking with one another and it's like, okay, how do you want to approach this situation? And Yasuke was on the ground, Naoe was hiding up on the rooftop. So I was like, okay, I'm going to go with Naoe because I kind of want to sneak around the back, but like Yasuke's going to probably be fighting like mob enemies on the ground in the meanwhile. But what happens is Yasuke disappears and all the NPCs reset and they're just kind of wandering around like nothing happened at all. And another side note that maybe isn't fully in line with what I'm talking about here with the dual mission structure, but still feels relevant to mention, is that my target was basically just standing there waiting to be taken out, like no schedule, no walking point cycle, nothing. Like, he was basically just
Wow.
holding a kill me sign. And so I feel like if Yasuke's gameplay was a little plain or his inclusion in the story wasn't great, this element here could have served
That's
as
what I'm
like,
saying.
this is
Like,
why he's here, because now he's like part of the mission. Even when you're playing stealth, like, he's going through aggro in this particular stretch where it felt like that's how it was set up, but that's not the case here. Other side note
yeah,
on the story as we wrap things up,
that's
yeah,
sad.
I would recommend doing JP voice if you can. I think the English voice acting, sometimes it's just outright bad.
Your statue.
Ah, yes. I am grateful.
Sometimes it's just not hitting those emotional levels
Doesn't
that
seem like it.
I believe the Japanese voice cast manages to do. So I would personally play it in Japanese if I were you. But that, ladies and gentlemen, is where I stopped after all of this. Because, again, I've seen this all before. I've seen this story in a million other pieces of media. Its gameplay feels unfocused because of the split protagonist approach, limited level and mission design, and unimaginative stealth compared to other beasts in the genre, as well as games that even Ubisoft has made in the past. Its world is awesome at times, sure, but I've already been served a healthy amount of games like it before, as I mentioned at the top of all of this, your Ghost of Tsushima, your Rise of the Ronin, and so on. And I review many games. I've finished many I don't like at all. This is one where I've been down this Ubisoft road so many times in my career that I just felt comfortable stopping here because, like many of their games, you see everything it has to offer within the first 3 to 5 hours, and then the rest of it is repeated over 80. So yeah, originally when I said in past Ubisoft videos or episodes of Defining Duke that I wasn't going to review this game because of my preview, I realized that was a little bit irresponsible of me because, again, I represent a lot of the unconvinced demographic of people who want to love this game and learn more about it. So if I ended up liking it, I thought that was a really strong compliment to the game to overturn me. And in the end, it's fine, and I think others who really enjoy Ubisoft's games,
and if the
will love it more
gameplay
than
is
me,
like
but
appealing to you, like the stealth way and stuff, like you feel you like it, you're gonna want more content. Like he doesn't seem to be all thrilled about it, so waiting to get like 40 hours more of what he got from the first 15, I can get his sentiment about it. I think it's what I'm looking for, but obviously we're gonna find out when we play on Thursday. So yeah, that was reaction to Maddie. We're gonna let him finish here.
I'm personally content moving on and prioritizing my time elsewhere. Now, with it being fine, I'll just wrap up with this. Some of you may wonder what the difference between like my Avowed reviews fine is and my Assassin's Creed Shadows impressions fine are. And I'll just say that the fine in Avowed was a pure fascination that I had an Obsidian game delivering stronger gameplay than writing. Plus, they are one of my favorite developers, where Ubisoft is a company that frequently recycles ideas, where if you've played one, you've played them all. So yes, there is even nuance in the word fine. Otherwise, bugs. Only thing I encountered that locked up my game twice.
To me, we did like 40 hours of Avowed, and yeah, it felt fine. I feel like the gameplay of Assassin's Creed Shadows will be more appealing to me. So yeah, it depends on what you like for sure.
Was when I loaded up the game, if I paused too quickly to check the map and set my objective, it just hard locked on me. So that's it, y'all. Those are my thoughts on Assassin's Creed Shadows. I leave it in your hands. Let me know what you're thinking if you're planning on playing it at all. Looking forward to hearing your thoughts. Other than that, take excellent care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next one. Stay sexy, stay active. I love you all. Peace.
There we go.
Assassin's Creed Shadow.
Let's go play a little. Um, let's launch Valhalla. We have enough time to clear a camp. Yeah, we're gonna play on Thursday and probably on the weekend streams also. I think it's gonna be cool, but we'll see. I'll probably do my my first impression review of Valhalla tomorrow, since it's gonna be the last day before Shadows, and we're probably gonna put that game in the backlog for a while, and we might come back after. Alright. Now we're there. Let's see what the mission is.
You have exhausted my friend Uber here, but I'm wide awake. Maybe tell me where Burkford is hiding and let him rest happy.
Never.
Stone-faced and tight-lipped, all for a king who hides like a cowardly vole, too scared to protect his family and his people. Thirsty?
My husband does what he must for Mercia. How could he do otherwise, knowing that even his closest friends could betray him? Give that traitor Ceolwulf my message. He may win this earthly battle, but the devil has won the war for his soul.
I don't care how you feel about Ceolwulf, but he will be king. It's only a matter of when.
Borgred is king. Elected by the Witan and anointed by God.
My lady, I know what the losing side looks like, and you're on it. We've taken Repton, Tamworth, now Templebroth, and Leicester. With each victory, your hope for peace recedes.
Yet Borgred has what you do not. The loyalty of his people. Good men. Faithful men.
Who? The Thanes and Chills of Mercia? No, no. Only Leofrid remains loyal, and he too will fall.
Yes, goodly Leofrith. He will die defending his king. And win or lose, he will send 100 more of you to hell.
Eivor, your ladyship? Do not mind me. Only here to count my spoils.
Oh, God!
Pigs are happy.
Pigs have to eat, my lady. The trouble is, it takes a lot to sate their hunger. Only a matter of time before they finish those and sniff around for fresher meat.
And the smell of pig shit after this? Ooh.
My God! Get me out of here! Please!
Talk now, and we'll draw you a nice warm bath.
You are asking me to betray my husband. How can I do that?
If you don't, you will betray countless others. In legend, you may be remembered as the king and queen who abandoned their kingdom in its darkest hour. But there will be peace. This is Ceolwulf's promise, and it will be honored. You have my word.
She'll do it. Crazy.
Does the caged bird sing?
Burkford is hiding in an old crypt to the south, where the Alne and Arrow rivers join.
Crazy.
Now tell me this
Sent
is
our
not
men
a
to
sign
die.
from the gods.
It's a long way to carry a king. The three of you must clear a path back to Tamworth. Where can we meet?
Bring him to the bridge at Venonus. It's a straight line through. We'll deal with any trouble there.
Alright, maybe he's not there. Maybe she double-crossed us.
The heads were a nice touch. I'm not one for spectacle, but it got her talking.
Spectacle? That's just me.
Yeah, he's pretty psycho.
Pile the soldiers
Well,
here.
they picture him as such.
Let these
at
people
least.
bear witness to the carnage
Alright, where
that
are we
awaits
going?
their kingdom.
Didn't she say north? Where is it? The old crypt is in the south of Leatherstride. Okay. Which one? Where the Ari and Aln rivers join. Okay. Again, we know the name. Okay, there you go. Ari and... Is this one there? No. Must be right here. There you go. So right here. Is that the camp that we did already? Eversham Abbey. And we did that too. Yeah, that's probably a camp I did, and that's the thing we couldn't open. Maybe we'll find out that actually we really couldn't open it. Oh, that would be as annoying as the camp we couldn't stealth complete last night. I really hope that's not the case. Of course. Jump it, please, jump it. So sad.
Whoever trains these Mercian soldiers should be relieved of their...
It doesn't start sprinting back automatically. Is that it?
Guard for a musty crypt. Cannot be the dead they're protecting.
What do you mean heavy guard? We cleared that camp. Are you serious? Okay. That's sad. Oh well.
Christ is surely with us.
Really sad. I really, like, I already cleared that camp yesterday, and they're doing this. Yeah, that's really sad.
Get back here! Together, lads, we have this. Going to smash you!
Wish I could see that. See, like, we cleared it stealthily yesterday. Now I don't even want to do it because, like, we did it. I feel like it's supposed to be empty. We're supposed to just come here and get what we were looking for. He's getting stunned. Yeah. That lock on that happens after and they tell me to come here. That's funny.
He's got to be down here. Where are you hiding, Bergrit?
We Did all that already, sir. Really unfortunate. Brother. Whew.
I must be getting close.
Now the door is open. So I've wasted literally last night, not kidding, over 20 minutes at least, because I stealthily cleared that whole camp just for fun. I came across the camp and I knew there was something there to get, and I couldn't get in either from that way or the other crypt entrance. And tonight I'm doing the main mission that brings me here, makes me do it all over again. And now it opens that door that couldn't get open last night. Such a bad design. Felt like my time was wasted or not respected. Like, insane.
Now you, my lord! Intruders!
Not like the game is tough also, you know. I don't know. That feels bad. That feels really bad.
No! No, 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 it can't be! Stay back!
That's a bread knife, my lord. Do you mean to butter me?
Stay back! Back, I say! I'll fight you!
If you insist.
You'll have
It's
to
gonna be
kill
hard.
me!
Luckily
Why
for
can't-
you, it won't come to that.
This kingdom is mine! Mine!
Amazing.
Time to go, my lord. We're late for the crowning ceremony.
At least now I can get what I came here for yesterday. A letter. Yeah. No comments. Oh, okay. That's a little better. Still. Feels pretty bad. Can you? Obviously. Is he gonna move now? Watch him. Alright.
Ah! Get me off this thing!
God, that felt bad.
You think you've won? You haven't. Liar, Fritz. I sent him away.
I haven't
with
won,
orders
I've wasted
to
my time.
destroy you.
Quiet.
The mess you're in, you don't know the half of it. You're a blight on this world. The whole lot of you. A rancid disease. You don't deserve Mercia.
To the victor, the spoils, my lord. You must win Mercia to deserve her.
these Mercian soldiers should be
We need to go. Fast.
right behind you.
I was gonna say they make sure I come this way, just because we're gonna get ambushed or something.
Put me down!
More of them.
To me, my soldiers! I'm here!
How could you forget the torch? I told you we need to set fire to the house so the raid feels real.
The way you go down is with a rope around your neck.
They'll be coming for him. Stay alert. Here we are. Look familiar?
No! No! You
These Mercian soldiers
godless
should be relieved of their
slugs!
duty, I think.
You won't get away with this!
It annoys the shit out of me when you don't listen.
Trouble ahead. Go. We'll cover you.
Help!
Hey. Change has come, Burgred. All that remains is a coronation. A wit end with the Lords of Mercia.
Burgred, my love!
My lady, are you injured? Did they hurt you?
No, no. I'm fine.
Move along, Lord. Your king awaits.
Your death will come, Danes. Your end was writ the moment you came for me. I have made damn sure of that. The Zealots will know your name soon enough. No matter where you are or how far you travel, they will hunt you down.
Enough of that, you squeaking sparrow.
Let my brother be the lunatic of Tamworth.
Zealots? What does he mean?
Ignore him. Desperate pleas and prophecies. Nothing more.
Walk with me, Wolf-Kissed.
Obviously,
We have some
that's
time
not
before
gonna
the
be
ceremony.
Where to?
Nowhere in particular. I only want to celebrate.
Didn't think you were the type.
You have drawn a dark conclusion about me, haven't you? That is all well and good. I've drawn some about you as well.
Are you leading a lamb to slaughter?
See what I mean? Dark. Too dark.
His hair just appeared. At least he's running.
You there! Sit down. I know I have been a cock, but you are a good fighter. I respect that. Let it be said that Ivar the Boneless considers Eivor a friend.
Who calls you boneless?
Some backrout I killed in Hibernia. Used his guts to shine my spear. Called me boneless because I move like a reed in the wind.
Not because you're always too drunk to plow?
Valhalla. That is where I am bound. I can smell the blood and taste the mead. I will sit beside the High One with my axe in hand.
A fitting end for Arachnason.
You would think, eh? Me, Halfdan, we will be there. But Uba... no. I do not think we are chasing the same victory. Not anymore.
What does Uba want?
To grow old and fat on a farm somewhere with little Ubas to chase about.
He wants an heir. It's a common dream.
Not for a warrior. Not for Drengir like us. He was different before. But this place, England, it softened him.
If it bothers you so much, why not strike out on your own?
Because he is my brother. I love him. And I will do what it takes to drag him back around to my way of thinking. We are warriors, all. And that is to the death.
It goes out into gameplay. That's nice. I like that.
I miss the drowning.
All right, this is where we stop for tonight. Pretty disappointed, but hey, we'll clip that. All right, see you tomorrow, guys. 8 p.m. Eastern, as always.